Hey guys, this is Paper and I'm here with the deck profile for Worms. This version of Worms I built basically because nowadays both the trap tricks and hands are very popular, so I decided to see how well if that like those would do integrated into a Worm deck, and so far it's been working out really well. So I just wanted to show all of you just to get you guys' opinion. I'm gonna start off. I run Triple X. This guy is basically the deck's main level 4 beater with 1800. That and when it's normal summon, you can send a reptile worm from your deck to your grave, which is really helpful because it sets up potential plays with worm. Like it mainly sets up plays with Worm Yegan, but sometimes you get set up like call the haunted plays with Worm King. That and when you control a face-up Worm Yegan, this card cannot be destroyed by battle. It's another helpful effect. I've rarely ever used it, and I've been running worms for a long time. But anyways, there's Triple X. Next up, Triple Yegan. This is probably one of the most important cards in the deck because what this can do is when it's flipped face up, you can bounce a monster back, and that's really helpful. That and if you only control as Worm X, you can special summon this in face down defense. So, like let's say turn one, you open up Zex. What you can do is summon Zex, mill Yegan, Yegan's effect, summon itself in face down, then sets a back row, and you're fairly good, at least for turn one. After that, triple Carteros, he searches out your worms, just helps set up your plays, whether it be your Zexes, your Jakens, or if need be itself. After that, single Worm King. I know some people run two of this, but I've run two in the past and I didn't like it, mainly because this is the card that you do not want to draw this thing ever. So I just want to eliminate the chance of me actually getting it in my hand, but I never want to cut it because it's a really good card because not only can it be special summoned when off of the effect of W Nebula Meteorite, but it's a 2700 beater, and it functioned as a GK Descendant for the deck, and it like and if I really need to, I can tribute some of it, tribute summon it by just tributing a single worm, which is it's a thing I've never been able to use, but it's still there. It's just nice to have a big beefy descendant. After that, single Thunder King. Thunder King is just a really good card. Like I've all like as whenever I've been able to like have one, I've always been like running this in worms. It's just because it's just a very good stun card. It's a very good blight. It's a very good beater. Just a good card. I'm a little upset that it's still at one. After that, run double Myrmilio. This little guy get nabs can help me get me my bottomlesses and my trap chicks, trapple nightmares. Um, because when it's normal summoned, you can add a trap hole card, and when it's special summoned, you can pop an opponent's back row. Very rarely been able to use that effect because the only way I can bring it back is with Call of the Haunted. But either way, it's still helpful. After that, I run two of each of the hands. These things are really good because like there have been times where like if I go second and I open like Fire Hand and some back row, I can just set Fire Hand, set a back row, then see what my opponent is gonna do from there, and then react properly. And they're really nice because not only because it gives me a way to thin out my deck because one of the biggest problems that worms have is that they're kind of slow. So this gives me a way to not only like sift through my cards to get to my key pieces, such as like my Yagans, my Nebulas, etc. But I can also get rid of problem cards like particular monsters or particular back rows. That's just really helpful. After that, one honest because most of the monsters are light, so it's kind of a staple for light decks in my opinion. And to round out the monster count, I run a single Gen X Ally Birdman. What this guy can do is I can bounce back, say a face up Myrmilio or Yegan special summon it, and this is helpful because not only can I reuse my Myrmilios or Zexes, but I can also synchro summon it into level sevens. But more importantly, Gen X Ally Triforce, which I'll get into once I get to the extra deck. For the spells, I just run triple duality to help me sift through my cards, double dichotomy, no, yeah, dichotomy, just so that I can just help recycle cards, mostly the hands. And even that, and honestly, the lack of a battle phase doesn't hurt me at all, or yeah, it doesn't hurt me that much because what I'll end up doing is just if I play dichotomy, I'll just shuffle in, draw two, then just set a ton of cards. So I'm not really missing out on anything. And lastly, just triple MST because back row hit is a nice thing to have. Onto the traps, triple W Nebula Meteorite. For those of you who do not know what this card does, it You change all face down monsters to face up defense position, which meaning you can activate the effects of like your Yagans and your Carteroses. During the end phase of this turn, change all face up light reptile type monsters you control to the face down defense position and draw one card. So not only can you activate like your Yagan, you can also set your Yagan to draw one for it, and then you can special summon your Worm King from your deck. So this card is really good. So you running it in triplicate is absolutely necessary. After that, I have my trap hole targets, which are just a bottomless and two trap trap hole nightmares. Because these are just really helpful to just get rid of problem cards upon summon. Enough said. Next up, two Deep Prison. Deep Prison is I've always thought of Deep Prison as being a really nice card, but nowadays when these are running around the like just running around the game, they're really helpful checks to them. After that, two Breakthrough. I used to run Fiendish, but I've done some experimenting and I realized that I kind of like that Breakthrough's kind of better nowadays because not only because Fiendish can sometimes just occupy a back row slot, which is really bad for this deck. Not only that, but if the hands do get off their like effect to pop a back row, if they pop a breakthrough, I can still kind of use it, as opposed to a Fiendish hand where if it's popped, it just sits, it just occupies space in the grave. After that, just one Compulse. It's Compulse. Next up, two Call the Haunted. It just lets me pull things out of the grave, such as like my Myrmilios or my Thunder Kings or whatever I need. And then last, to round out the main deck, I just run a single Warning. Onto the extra deck. To start off, I run one Gen X Ally Triforce. Basically, what this guy does is he's a level 7 Synchro, 2500 attack, and 2100 defense. He requires a Gen X tuner and one or more non-tuner monsters. And basically, this card gains an effect or effects based on the attributes of the non-tuner monsters. So if it's an Earth, it pretty much imitates an Ancient Gear monster in that you cannot activate spells or traps until the end of the damage step. If you use a fire monster, it deals burn, and then if you use a light, you can special summon the light from your grave and face down defense, which is really helpful for worms, because if I do something like, I don't know, summon Zex, mill Yagan, special summon Yagan, and the next turn bounce back Zex, summon Birdman, summon Zex, mill another Yagan or something, and then sync with, or mill Carteros, sync with Birdman and Zex, I can bring up Triforce, then Triforce can just pull worms out of the grave, which is really helpful. After that, I just run Black Rose to nuke the field. Crazy Box because skill drain is mean to this deck. Constellar Omega because it's a really nice beater. After that, two King of the Feral Imp. It is the reptile equivalent to Gear Gigan X, however, it's also generic, which is really helpful. After that, one Black Ship, it just gets rid of problem cards like the Hands or Zenmains, etc. After that, two number 101. Again, it just helps get rid of like certain problem cards. After that, Diamond Dyer. This is again in the same vein of just getting rid of problem cards. Excuse me. After that, one Star Leash Palo Dynamo. With this, it's just another good beater for the deck with the added bonus that not only can it negate a monster's effect and reduces attack to 0, but when it's destroyed, like Card Trooper, you can let me draw a card. After that, one Exiton because nuking the board when you're in a bad spot is just really nice. Then one Daegu Star Emerald, kind of in the same vein as my dichotomies, just to help recycle things. But this is also the added bonus that I can like maybe recycle like two Fire Hands and an Ice Hand or something like that. After that, one Dweller to counter things like the Hands, Artifacts, Dark World, etc. And then lastly, one Cowboy just to deal that last 800 per game. Out of the side deck, I run two Maxi. This is for just faster matchups because this deck is still on the slower side. So if I'm up against something that's much faster than me, I can just use that to my advantage and just get draws off. After that, one DD Crow just to get rid of a problem card from the graveyard. From there, I have run two System Down. Two is probably excessive, but it's still a good thing to have against machines. It's just to counter things like Yugioh, Cyberdragon, etc. After that, two Zombie World. This is exclusively to counter things like decks that are very type centric, like Fire Fists or Bujins to a degree or Harpies, etc. From there, I side in two Needle Sealing. This is kind of the same vein as my Maxi, where it just like if I'm up against any sort of like swarming deck like Karakuri, I can just blow up their monsters, because a lot of the time I find myself just setting cards like setting a Yagan or setting an Ice Hand or whatever. So even if I just set like a Yagan and then my opponent just explodes, just drop the needle ceiling. From there, I side into Iron Wall because this deck does not like Macro or Defissure. After that, two Shadow Imprisoning because to get rid of to deal with things like Dark Worlds, Evil Swarms, Inzectors, etc. And then lastly, I run two Debunk because this is really helpful against things like Bujins, the artifacts, again Dark Worlds, etc. And that just rounds about the deck. So if you guys like this and you would like to see footage of this deck in action, please give this video, how about 5 likes? Yeah, 5 likes, and if this video gets 5 likes, I'll post some replays of this deck in action. And if you like this video, please check out my other videos and please subscribe. Anyways, this is Papernest, and I'm out.